Hello and welcome back to the second episode of Aviation Conversation. This week, I want to bring up just some experiences I've had with flight training. If you didn't know, I was getting my my pilot's private license, but some situations happened at the school, so I wasn't able to continue, and I kind of grew up a little bit, and it kind of got pushed to the back burner. But I have a couple stories from the flight school I went to. So, starting off, when I first started, the school was very lively. There was a lot of people coming in, going out, you know, flying, learning how to handle airplanes. And so going in was great. I loved it. They had a big hangar, had a lot of aircraft, but I was a, cheap high school graduate, so I started off flying the Piper Tomahawk, which the nicknames of those is the Traumahawk, and they are not lying when they call it the Traumahawk. So I have I think I have like 30 hours maybe in pilot and command hours. So I mean, flying, a lot of people think flying is really hard. Once you're in the air level flight, it's pretty easy. Like just flying in open airspace, piece of cake. Landing, taking off, and flying in controlled airspace and having to know what radio frequencies to be on and where to do all that. That's where it gets hard. That's where it gets hard. So in total, I flew 2 different planes. They were both Pipers. So I started with the Tomahawks, and then they were phasing those out. So I switched to the Cherokee, which, man, I love the Cherokee. I know a lot of people, they stick with the Cessna 172. One of my friends in the flight school had a 172. But I don't think I ever actually flew one of those. I don't think I've ever actually been in a Cessna 172, surprisingly. It's one of the most common aircraft, and I've never even been inside one while it's flying. So the Cherokee, oh, I love the Cherokee so much. The Tomahawk, for any power on stalls, man, they love to kick it and turn it. And my instructor, he was going through the motion of what to do in a spin, and it's pair, power idle, ailerons level, rudder opposite, elevator down. So yeah, so we went over that in our ground school right before we went up in the air. We go on to do my power on stall, and you got to give it a lot of right rudder in the power on stall because the rotation of the propeller is wanting to turn you to the left. So I get up there and absolutely roll the thing straight down, going, I see, 0 G's out of my seat, go straight down. I'm seeing the ground, and man, if my instructor wasn't there, I mean, I probably could have got out of it because I was 4,000 feet in the air, but he definitely came in and saved my butt. So yeah, that was the first time. And then I actually, the funny thing too, as we were getting into the practice area, I asked him, what's the scariest thing any of your students have done? And he's like, well, most of them, I know I can get control, so there's not a lot of times I get scared. And then as soon as we do that, I look at him, I'm like, that's going on your list, isn't it? He's like, yep, definitely is on my list. So that was really fun. And the other thing is, I wouldn't recommend this. I actually did work at the hangar as well. I worked there for a little bit. And that's when I started learning that, oh my gosh, they are running this business into the ground. Because starting off, there was tons of there was probably 5 or 6 student planes, and then it got down to like 3, and it was 2 Cherokees and 1 Tomahawk. And so I'm like, man, it's going down. But one of my duties at the flight school, and I worked with my buddy, we would polish a aluminum T-28, and I'm gonna be honest, that was the worst job I ever had. I love the experience with my friend and the times, the memories we have, but polishing that plane from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, oh my goodness, it was horrible. So it's kind of like don't work with what you love, and that's also where I learned with any job can be this way. If you love the job but your management is horrible, you're gonna have a terrible time. Even if like the work isn't fun, but if you have a great management or a great manager, you're gonna have the best time in your life. So if you're getting to the age where you're gonna be working, remember, it's better to have a good manager than have the work be good. So So let's see. We have a couple questions, but I have one thing I wanna talk about first. So, coming from Ghost Sniper 58 in the last video, he said L video, no Abrams. Well, buddy, here you go. This is specifically for you. Here's your Abrams video. We have five questions. All right. So from M1 War Thunder, what is your favorite nation in War Thunder and why? So I'm going to give two answers. I'm going to give my obvious answer and I'm going to give my actual, my second answer. So my favorite nation, of course, is America. I love playing them. They're probably the most I have on any tech tree. And yeah, I mean, I'm from America, so this is what I definitely know. I know more about, any American aviation and tanks more than any other nation in War Thunder. But that's the boring answer. Everyone knows I love America. So what is my second favorite? This one's a little more hard. I love Germany just due to the World War II aircraft. After that, I mean, I haven't played any, but you just look at the tech tree. It gets very copy and paste with their jets. I'm going to be honest, probably my favorite nation. I haven't played all the way through, but it probably is Sweden. And not because it's the smallest one, but just first of all, I have the Saab. The Saab is so fun. But some of the planes they get, I mean, the Gripens and the Drakens, they're so cool. I love their delta wings. So Sweden right now is probably in that list for my favorite nation. Pokemon Go Kid. Have you ever played the Baby Tiger for Germany? It's so fun. So I know what he's talking about. I forget the name. I'll put a picture up of it. But I have not. I know it's is it an event vehicle? Panzer SFL. I love the German names of it. It's a rank 2 German light tank. BR 2.3. I remember, there it is. Oh, it's a 50 millimeter pack. Okay. But yeah, I don't know if it's coming back or not. I really do not know. So yes, unfortunately, I do not have this in the game, but I would, if it comes back on sale again, I will. So yes, if you have any questions about any other vehicles, go ahead and put it down. 222 Off-Road Guy from Discord. He asks, will you do IRL videos / streams in museums, air shows, or events? Yes, I'm planning on it. I know right now in Texas, the mid-summer is absolutely dry for any air shows. We have air shows in March, April, May. June, July, August are completely empty. And then end of September starts getting more events. So I do have events planned for videos and streams, and then I'm definitely going to be looking for any museums to go look at, and then again any events. I know there's some fall events I'm already looking at and some winter events. He also asked, how often will you stream games? I used to do it 3 times every week. I'm probably going to do it twice a month, maybe. I know I'm going to have the Wings Over War Thunder streams. Those are still going to be happening. I'm going to cut back on stream so I can do more videos for YouTube. And then he asked, will you do fishing content? I wasn't planning on it, but I'm actually pretty lucky. I have a wife that likes to fish, so I'll think about it. I need to get a mount for my phone so I can film it. But yeah, I can think about fishing streams or fishing content. If y'all want, let me know what y'all think about that in the comments down below, and I can surely put it forward on effort. All right, that's the end of the questions. If you want any questions answered or write a comment that gets in the video, go ahead and just leave it down in the comments below. Or if you're on the Discord, put it in the question Q&A section. So let's continue with some of this story about aviation training. So again, a lot of the times during the school, it's going to be a lot of ground school. It's usually when you go to your lessons, it's about 1 hour of ground school and 1 hour of flight training. And just make sure where you go, it's a flight school that's been around for a while. A lot of these places will start and then they'll get money. And this is what happened to my school. They started buying private planes. And I know when I first started, they really had no private planes other than they had a BT-13 and the T-28. That was it. That's all they had. But so they started selling off lesson planes, and then they started to buy. They bought a Mooney. They bought a some sort of. It wasn't a Soviet. It was like a Slavic high wing plane. I know if my friends watch this video, he'll put it in the comments. And then they started buying. What else did they buy? Oh, they bought a Texan. And unfortunately, the owners, because they would go to Oshkosh. The owner's wife, she was up in the Texan during Oshkosh, and the engine failed, and she had to emergency land in the lake and never was recovered. So unfortunately, that did happen. I'm not sure if that had any effect on the business, but I know before that they were already very bad with their finances. So just make sure they really do care about their students and their instructors, because the same thing too. When I was going through, I went through 3 teachers from 7 months. I went through 3 teachers because the first 2 great teachers, amazing teachers, I love them, but they just quit because they weren't getting paid enough or there wasn't enough students. And this was 2021. So it was a little after COVID, but down in Central Texas, it wasn't that bad unless you were in one of the bigger cities. So it just I don't know. It wasn't the right time. So, going on, it also depends on the teachers, because I know if you don't have a good teacher, you're going to have a rough time. It's the same thing as I was talking about. If you have a good job, but you have a terrible manager, you're not going to have a fun time with it. I still have my logbook and everything. I can start back up, but there's other things I need to spend money on. And so I'm not really pursuing it right now. But if you have any questions about, where you should start or what you should get for your flight training, shoot me at questions. If I don't know the answer, I definitely know people that have got their commercials. And so if you have any questions, let me know and I can send you that information. So I want to talk about air shows right now. So I remember when I was a kid, there was a lot more air shows around. And now the smaller ones, and I'm glad they're doing this, the smaller airports now that used to have air shows, they're mostly doing fly-ins and bed and breakfasts. So if you don't know the difference between an air show and a fly-in, did I say bed and breakfasts? I meant it's kind of like cars and coffee, but it's they usually do airplanes like a fly-in with breakfast. So if you don't know the difference between like a fly-in compared to a air show, a fly-in's kind of like people fly across they land there and they kind of just show their plane off. There's really no spectacular performances that happen because there's really no air boss. It's really not a organized event for that, but you get to go there and see some unique planes that people will fly in. And then of course, if you've ever been to an air show, it's more of a performance act event. And man, I love going to air shows. The only thing I will say is a lot of the ones around here that are at military bases, man, they have no shade at them. So it's real hard for if I want to bring my wife, it's real hard for me to bring her because of that. But there are some air shows that are kind of small routes. And so they're more able to get the better venues that aren't completely void of trees. Question for anyone that's watching this far in the video: what is your favorite performance that you love to see in any air shows? And as you know, if you're watching this, I do virtual air shows. And what performances would you want to see in that? If you want to give your input, there's a good place right there to do it. So another aspect of if you want to be in aviation but you don't want to be flying, I know I have a lot of people in my group and my Discord server, and they love to do plane spotting, and I know that's a great thing to do. I know I have a pretty close airport to me, and then a major airport 30 minutes away, and I always love just watching on FlightAware, and man, FlightAware is just great. It's such a good app because you can literally just get on there, or not FlightAware, Flight Radar, and you can just get on and see anything in your airspace. And it's such a fun app to look at, especially when my wife's like, oh, what plane is that? I'm like, I think think it's this, but let me look at flight overhead. Boom, it's right there. There's the information and where it's going, where it took off from, how high it is. That it's always fun to do. Also, I would love, I've been there once, but I would love to go back to Washington DC. And again, I would love to go back to the Stephen F. Udvar Hazy Center in Virginia. The funny thing is when you hear about this museum and you think, you always hear it's in Washington D.C. because it's the Smithsonian, but it actually isn't. If you go to D.C., I think it's like 15 miles away from DC. It's actually in Virginia. But oh my goodness, if you've never been to a aviation museum and that's your first one, whew, you're gonna get overwhelmed, buddy, because it is so good. So, but the weird thing is, most military museums, you'll go through a certain route, and it's a lot of pictures and it's a lot of reading and, you know, smaller artifacts of history. The Udvar, you walk in, it's just a big hangar. So it's really a good place if you really want to just look at the planes. It's great. And it's free because it's a government institution. So you don't have to pay money. Now, of course, if you live super far away, you got to pay money to get there, but I would 100% recommend any of those. Also, if you want to go to an aviation museum, look in your area, see if there is a commemorative Air Force. Those are always great. No matter how big or small, they're all volunteer work. And so I bet, I mean, if you walk in those doors, those old guys are going to light up because they love telling the history that they know. And the plane they have in their hangar, they will talk your ear off for hours. So that is all I have for this week of aviation conversation. I do have this planned for every Monday. So be ready for those on Monday. I'm probably going to do afternoon. If you have any questions, again, put them down in the comments or put them in the Discord server. If you want to join the Discord server, it should be in my description. If that doesn't work, I will change it. But if you need it, it should be on my TikTok page. So I'm excited to go through this week. I hope y'all have a good week as well. I'll see y'all in the next flight.